we're good.
The little fan things.
I think we're all on the same page.
Okay.
What do you mean fan thing?
Wait, we got to clap.
You go clap. Guest clap.
The guest has the clap.
The fan thing, some of them have a little fan over it.
Oh, the dead cat.
Just in case you got a lisp.
Oh. You don't want to get spit all on the mic, huh?
You been spitting on these things?
Well, I have like Invisalign in now because my teeth are just super narschmiegeled out. And so...
You're like a British person.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
So that's super funny because we were hanging with Tom Lowe a lot in Europe.
Yeah.
And Zora just got on this kick of sending him like Trash Can Paul British because you know Trash Can Paul has he has it out for like English people. He always makes the memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Zora
So
like,
mean.
I
That's
saw
so mean.
I saw a really funny meme the other day. It was like a scary monster is like in your room. It has messed up teeth, super ugly and bad. It's a British person.
Oh man.
Oh, okay. Episode 11. We have another guest. I think this is our third guest, I guess, because we had Pizel, John, and now we have Jack Germain, the man behind the lens on DJ.
Oh, is that the air horn?
Yeah, was that really?
Yeah, I think it is.
Jack Germain, he is the man behind the lens on This Is Livin, and our good friend that we grew up with here on North Shore. He's been in the camp. He went to school for, you could tell him, Jack.
Yeah, I did go to school for filmmaking, but I think I learned it mostly hanging with you guys. So thanks for having me.
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
dude.
Hell yeah. I'm here.
So
thanks, guys.
where did your film kind of start, your interest in filming and your creativeness start here on North Shore?
Yeah, just, filming the ocean, right? And it kind of started filming surfing in high school and like filming with a GoPro on the shore break. And honestly, it first started with video games. I would record myself.
No way.
Yeah.
You've been the original
I didn't even know that.
Twitch
Yeah.
streamer.
And I would, my dad bought me a like little recording device and I would record myself when I was like 13, 14. And I was like, what do I do with this footage? I gotta put it together on a program. Started doing that. And I was like, one day, I think someone, like a girl from my class was like, oh, what are you working on? I was like, I can't tell her I'm working on video games. Like, she's gonna be like, this guy is a weirdo. And so I was like, grabbed a camera and I started like putting footage like from just my friends like running around in the ocean. And that's kind of how it started. That was the first step, like 13, 14, right around there.
That's crazy because if you think about like whenever
So that must have been like 2010.
2010 and where some of those like
Some of those guys
channels are
yeah,
now.
those guys are huge
channel. Minecraft
but nothing was
channel.
like that around. Like no streaming, no Twitch.
Yeah, now it's cool to be a gamer.
Now it's cool. Like back then it was not. Like
Gamers
Dude.
are loaded.
Yeah. They're considered a sport.
it's like they
gaming's
have
a
full,
sport, right?
full on sport.
The category of YouTube
E-games,
videos
esports.
that has to do with Minecraft is the most views in any category across all of YouTube.
Really?
It's
Minecraft
huge.
videos.
It's
Minecraft.
Yeah,
Isn't
they
that the
take
little
up-
block people?
Yeah, and they like build little things, I guess.
They have
That is
free games
so
that are like
funny.
bigger than any like NFL viewing or like any like the Super Bowl. It's bigger than the Super Bowl.
Any
More
surf
viewers.
podcast you could think of?
Any surf podcast. Not bigger than this one though.
Dude, that's crazy. Do you still have some of your old gaming footage from your like when
I
you were
have
like
to go look.
13
No,
years
there's
old?
no way. It's on an old computer somewhere, but there was definitely a time when I was like, oh my God, uploading it to MySpace.
Wow.
And then it was Vimeo. That was like the next. It was like MySpace. Or no, I guess Facebook. And then Vimeo.
Yeah.
I remember when Vimeo was like the
Vimeo
cool
was
thing
the
to
thing.
do back in like 2014 when you
I
made
saw
me an edit. I ended up putting that edit.
Well, we
on
should go.
Vimeo.
We should go back to how we all crossed paths because I think you were the first person to call me, right? Right when I was leaving high school.
I think so.
What was it? You called me about something.
I called you because back in the day, this was before anyone was thinking of starting channels. At the time, it was like magazines were fading out and the big platforms were in, right?
This was 2013.
There was Surfline and there was Stab and there was guys doing individual channels I thought were really cool. They weren't YouTube channels, but they were websites, more like This is when
Yeah.
blogs were really big.
Yeah, the blog scene.
And so Deepwater Surf was this
Yeah.
one I was really into. That was Cole Christensen's. He had this website, right? And he would do these insane strike missions or these trips where he would write a big story. It's basically how Surfline used to do their articles, but Cole was doing it for a long time. Full edit,
I didn't know
photos,
that.
full write-up, full
Yeah,
story on the
yeah.
trip. The website's still up. It's still really cool to go check it out because those guys did some epic trips on it. But we were starting to do more of those trips, and we kept calling them strike missions. And so I made a website called Strike Missions, and I was going to do kind of
remember that.
our version of what Cole was doing. I just thought it was rad, but I don't really know what happened. It was the same thing that happened when we started or tried to start the group channel.
Yeah.
It was like-
with Shadow Company, right?
Yeah, it was too many moving parts.
Yeah, you called
do
me
it
and you were
alone,
so
like-
scrambled.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I need this, but I need a filmer, and then I need something. And I was like, oh, I'm going to school. Like, I don't
Like,
know.
I'm
This
out,
sounds kind of
dog.
sketchy.
You're actually leaving Hawaii.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
So
know.
you hit up Jack asking what, like him to write stuff or build a website?
No,
I
to
was
film,
ready
I
to
think.
write
Film?
it. I just wanted to film and shoot photos.
You were going on a trip, and I was just like so
Yeah.
freaked out. I was like, my mom was like,
You're like,
"You
I
need
can't go to Africa. Nate's
like,
like, I'm going to Africa for 2 months.
You're coming
You're
to
like, I just
Africa.
got out of high school.
I was like, I don't know about
I'm
this.
17 years old.
I don't know if I want to
I'm moving to Africa for 2 months.
No, that was funny. And then I went to school, and then that's when I didn't see you guys for like a year. It must have been middle of 2013 when I was doing Vine, and that's kind of like when it all.
You kind of had a little social media presence on Vine. Right?
Overnight,
Your
yeah.
Vine kind of blew up.
I made that one that was longer than 6 seconds. That was like the big deal.
Because you were popular.
For a
on
second,
Vine.
I was just.
Well, you're still popular, but I mean,
Oh no, it's all right.
It has been.
I almost made it.
wait, give us so
No.
for those of you who don't know, Vine was like an old
It
school
was a
TikTok.
It was a 6
only-
second
Yeah.
social media video platform. So you could post a video for 6 seconds. That was it.
and you figured out how to
I
hack
just
it and
I
make
just
it longer,
spent too
right?
much time on the computer, and I figured out how to do it.
Are you serious?
And it was like an overnight
it went viral because
Viral.
How
because
long
I had
was the
all this
video you
footage.
made?
Because I remember filming in high school, and I had all this crazy footage from Hawaii that I just never put together in like an edit. And so I was like, what do I do with this? I was in California, bored out of my mind, like moved to a suburb, but I was just like, okay, what? Like, I don't know what to film over here. I'm just gonna use my old footage, put it
Yeah.
all together, and I was like, I can't fit it on this app. And I looked up like some stuff on how to do it. And I was like, oh, it's possible. I did it. The next day, it was just like, how'd you do this? Like, boom, like 200,000 followers, like overnight.
How long was it?
It was 16 seconds. It was before Instagram had video as well.
That's
Didn't,
crazy.
didn't
Yeah.
the owners of Vine?
Yeah, the
hit you
owner
up?
of Vine hit me up and was like, "Good job." I don't know how you like did it, but and then Twitter ended up buying Vine and
they,
deleting it.
They just crushed it.
They were like, "No, you're done with this."
Damn, that's
Damn, Vine.
insane.
I still love seeing the old Vine.
The old
memes
Vines were
that
great.
Yeah.
Pop
Yeah.
up were so good.
But TikTok is funny now too.
Dude,
But
I just saw this thing today. TikTok might be like fully banned in US soon.
Really?
I saw that, and I saw
Do you post on
Elon.
TikTok?
Yeah.
Elon was like,
Should
"Should I bring Vine back?" Because
Yeah,
he now
I seen
owns
that.
Twitter.
Bring Vine
and
back.
they own the rights to Vine.
let's do it, Elon.
Oh my
Elon,
God.
where you at?
If TikTok gets banned, Vine returns.
Do I get my old account back?
That's like, wait, 200,000 followers.
This could change everything for me.
I'm gonna be filming Jack.
Hey, what up? I'm gonna
Tables
be
have
doing
turned.
stupid dances. Like, yeah.
So you grew up on North Shore with us, went to school on
Yeah.
North Shore, and then you moved to California. What was that
Yeah.
switch
I
like? Because me
moved-
and Nate travel a ton, but we've
It
never
was so weird.
left moving from here. Like
Yeah.
for
Well, I mean, you
forget.
guys know, being born and raised on North Shore, there isn't a lot of opportunity. Like, okay, you're pro surfer, you can go get like a restaurant job, work in the tourist industry, but there isn't like a whole lot of middle ground.
can start
Yeah.
a coffee shop.
You can start a coffee shop,
Summer Shack.
but my parents were like, you got to do something. And I remember, I think like the Art Institute or like one of those that film school like came to the high school and was like, you can make movies. And I was like just getting into that phase. I was like, I'm going to that school. And I ended up going to that school, and I moved in with my aunt and uncle. And shout out to them. I would not have made it at all if it wasn't for them.
That's
They
epic.
like were like helped ground me there. But then I went to that school. But then I started working with GoPro after like social media kind of like guided me to work with these companies, and I started working in the industry, and I was like, I don't need school anymore. Out of here. So I wanted to leave so bad. No, but I finished.
Oh,
You finished college.
I finished in 3 years.
but how long had you been doing the school when you
We're working.
were
It was
thinking
immediate.
about quitting?
2014 and 15.
But
'Cause
you
I was
had
already
been at
working.
school for 2 years,
For 2 years at that point, and I was just like, I need to get out of here.
and you just had opportunities that were
I was
popping
like,
up, and school was
Yeah,
blocking you from doing
blocking
those?
it. I was traveling a little bit already, going to certain places, and I was just like, this is awesome. Like I'm already doing it. Why am I like
Yeah.
going to class with these people that aren't doing anything? And
Well, now are you happy that you finished it?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be doing this.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like, oh, I should have
So-
done that. I should have done this.
Yeah.
But-
There's always going to be that in anything you do in life.
I'm sure a lot of people
Well,
listening and watching-
2014, you were there and you came to me. That was the other thing that's hilarious because then we made that edit.
Yeah, that was way before This Is Living. But for everyone who doesn't know, who's watching or listening, Jack Germain, who we have here, me and him have been working together for almost 5 years now on This Is Living, our YouTube series that we've been working
Yep.
pretty hard on. And he
been a
also puts together the podcast for me and Nate. But back in 2014, when I was in California, I remember reaching out to Jack randomly after he left Hawaii to make me a surf edit back before like YouTube was a thing or anything. I remember
It went on
reaching out
Vimeo.
to you, and we put it on Vimeo, and it was really sick actually.
No, I was,
It was
hyped
super
because that
sick.
was the coolest footage I got to work with. Besides working with some GoPro stuff and other people, like you brought me phantom footage, the super slow mo
Yeah.
stuff. We had a crazy song. The Instagram is still hype that we use.
Dude, that Instagram's
And
sick.
I remember just being like, oh my God, okay, first like surf edit with a professional surfer. Because I had made little surf movies with my friends in high school. And we put that up on Stab, and I was like, here we go. Here we go. First comment, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm just like sitting there like,
That's a stab comment.
and I was
for
like,
you.
oh my God, I'm quitting. Like, I'm over this.
I give up.
No, but that wasn't the first time I almost like quit. Like crazy, like the worst thing possible could happen to a like person getting into social media and film. Vimeo actually reached out to me. So you want to hear the like Instagram and social media and like Snapchat and all those things? They were like the Wild West back in the day.
Yeah.
And Vine, like you could make money. Like I was making random money like through like PayPal and stuff, just through like little ads here and there. But
You're
Vimeo
selling
reaches
photos
out.
of yourself.
No photos were
Without
sold.
clothes
Nothing was sold ever.
This is pre-OnlyFans. So
Pre-OnlyFans. Only toes. No, it was like a person on Snapchat was messaging me like, "Hey, we want to like book you for a Vimeo commercial," and I was like cracking up because like Snapchat was just for sending whatever kind of photos.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This isn't real at all." And it was this girl. She kept sending me her face like, "Respond to your email. This is for Vimeo." And I was like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." Finally, like one thing was like some selfie with like computers and like it looked really professional. I was like, all right, send me an email. Full on Vimeo like commercial. So I did a full national commercial with Vimeo.
That's insane.
And all my friends were in it, like all my like high school friends and stuff. And they called me one day and they're like, dude, I just got $5 grand and a check in the mail. Because their faces were on, it was a national commercial. I was
Oh
seeing the
my
commercial. I'm
gosh,
like, it was one of my old videos. I'm like, here we come. My check is coming, dude. I'm rich. I got $340 in the mail.
They paid you like a day rate.
Bro, I called the other filmmakers and I'm like, how much did you get paid? They're like $80K.
Oh,
And
my
I was
gosh,
like
dude.
shaking, just like
That's crazy.
18 years.
So
I was 19 years old at the time, just like broken.
They all had like contracts in place.
So
like,
I
how
got
did that work?
so I got all my friends dialed. I got their like socials. I wrote everything up, emailed Vimeo, got all their information. So they were getting royalty checks
my
as the commercial played, like
Oh, afterwards, so they got their upfront checks and royalties.
everything, dude. They were getting like I think they made like Makoa was in it, like Christian Marcel, all my.
Where did it go wrong with you? What happened?
I am not good at business.
Was
and
it
with
this
money.
girl on Snapchat that just
She
got
swindled
you to
me.
do whatever?
Wherever you are,
That's a
I remember
tactic. Wherever you are, I love you. I'm still waiting for our date. Jack's been searching ever since.
but you're pan. But that was funny.
What is that
That
called? That's a tactic businesses use.
honeycomb, honey potting.
honey.
Anyway, so that was my first
18-year-old Jack just so psyched.
I'm so bummed because you were like head point. You produced it, you edited it, you got the crew
oh my god,
together.
it was so crazy. Yeah, like
that sucks, man.
and it was radical. But yeah, you live and you learn.
You live and you learn. That's the best advice ever.
But yeah, 2014 we made that edit, and then you had hit me up, and then I finished school in 2017, and I was like, I gotta get home. And then I collided into you guys who were doing Shadow Company at the time.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was a wild time.
We linked up right after Shadow Company.
Shadow Company came out, and you guys were going crazy, and it was like the band that I could tell was gonna break up and do their own thing, but I knew before you guys knew, and it was like, I'm out of here.
Well, that was funny because we made Shadow Company, which was our movie. Me, Nate, Billy, Luke, Davis, and our big plan. I remember talking to you so much, Nate, before, like after we finished that movie, like we're gonna let's start doing a series together. Kind of like there was those people, the Vlog Squad, back in the day, and I was like, it could be like this, and then it just fell apart, and then we started This Is Livin', and then Nate started his own YouTube channel, which has worked out great. Yeah. Because now we're kind of doing something with the podcast finally.
Yeah, now it feels more together. Like united.
I think it's just like you said, is one of those things probably meant to be. Too many different programs at that time. It was better we started our own because, especially for like sponsorships and individual career, it's insane to have your own channel and your own content, everything in your own hands.
Yeah, you need that.
And then what's epic with that is we both went out, we both built big channels. We came back and now have started this podcast, which we both can support from both of our other channels. Yeah. And then this is like the perfect middle ground to build something together. And what's even cool is like even just little chats we have, like other things can come out of the podcast, whether it's like some niche thing that we don't have a sponsor for and yet we can now feel comfortable combining. Yeah. And whether it's starting a business or get it going and pitching to this other sponsor or doing something else.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of sponsors, we got Magic Mind here.
Yes.
And you had something you wanted to say about him too, right, Nate?
Well, it's super interesting, and this is also what I wanted to talk to Jack about. Just we'll talk about it after, but it's as far as like going from being behind the lens to in front of the lens and seeing how, we'll get to this because you're gonna laugh because how self-conscious they get when they see clips of themselves surfing.
Oh god, Jack has to edit this whole thing.
First of all, wait. First off, I was gonna say,
I am not a pro server.
Speaking of studying clips, remember in our last podcast we were talking about how hard it is to progress in surfing and how long it takes sometimes, and how there's different ways. And we were saying study clips and then go out and try and do it in the water. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the trippiest things is when you go and say you study a surf edit and you're like, hey, I want to work on that bottom turn. He had his arms in a specific way. It looks like it's working better for him. I'm going to go try it. But as soon as you stand up on the wave, everything goes out the window in your head, right? Because you become reactive and you're in a flow state. Mm-hmm. With the Magic Mind, and you know how that kind of like maybe 15, 20 minutes after you drink it, it puts you in that little state? Yeah. It's like a little different than caffeine. It's more of a focus, more of the like laser focus state, almost borderline a little bit of that flow state. Uh-huh. Well, using it to learn, and when you're studying and focusing and watching surf videos and then focusing on that thing, it almost translates to when you're on the wave, it's already kind of locked into that flow state. Mm-hmm. Easier to implement what you're trying to learn. Just something that I found curious and interesting with it.
Now that you bring that up, I find the same thing as well.
Yeah, flow state on land, it kind of like, it's weird because learning things in the water, it has to turn instinctual, right? And so to tap into that state on land is a little harder, but with something like this, like a nootropic like this, it's like a interesting little take on it.
I have it with a cup of coffee in the morning. It's just insane.
But
delicious.
If you guys want to get some Magic Mind, head to magicmind.co/Koa and Nate. We got 20% off for you. It's Koa Nate if you get the subscription. It's taxed with the on-site discount. do it. I couldn't do it.
You're killing it.
I felt weird. I'm gonna do that again.
You just bear with us.
My dyslexia fully kicked in there. I was trying to read that. If you guys want some Magic Mind, just head to magicmind.co/koanate. Use our code KOANATE for 20% off. And yeah,
you're
with
good
free,
at
you get
those.
free shipping.
Yeah, you got it. You guys got it.
So I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm self-conscious about my surfing.
This is super funny because
I thought you were talking about self-conscious about themselves talking.
no,
I
no,
rip.
no.
Jackson after.
I mean when we are in front of the camera the whole time, right, and always surfing, and
Yeah.
when you watch your own footage, you're your biggest self-critic.
Oh yeah.
But I've found like a couple times of Film Zord or you guys are like, hey, that's sick. That was a sick turn you did. It's just like, no, that wasn't like I wanted it to be. Like, oh, that's
Okay,
like,
hear me out.
God, yesterday, you
I
should have
know-
seen my turns
we're
yesterday.
like we're like super hyped. Like, dude, you're ripping. You're like,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't. I didn't.
Well,
do
because
it."
you guys will come up and be like, dude, you're ripping, like in like a way where like they know we're not ripping that hard. Like,
no,
it's
we
genuine.
genuinely
No,
think
I-
like, wow, sick, like
Yeah.
good job.
no,
but
I'm
you
hyped
guys
on-
may
no
take
way.
it as a
No,
little jab. Like,
I'm not
oh,
like one of those
that wasn't
filmers,
sick.
like surf filmers that thinks they're a pro, which there is quite a bit of them.
I don't know. After Tahiti, I think you thought you were pro for a little bit. Remember?
Oh,
that?
I got that on lock, boy.
you got barreled.
You thought you told me you want to battle me in a contest, just me and you, man on man, at an
truth
8-foot
comes out.
slabbing left. Any slab left.
I gotta
Wow,
get you
Jack.
hyped sometimes. I gotta get-
That's how, you were confident you would beat me in a man on man heat at an 8-foot barreling slab left.
I don't know if I said 8 feet.
Yeah, you said 6 to 8 feet.
Oof.
And then it came around one day at Chopes.
We
I
must go
remember
to
that.
training.
Yes. Speaking of competing, how was you recently competed in a surf event this year?
The Filmers Cup.
How was that?
In memory of Larry Haynes.
Yeah, R.I.P. That guy's a legend. I got third, and
Oh, you got third.
yeah,
Is that your same result as last year?
yeah,
Damn.
I've gotten third twice now. But I heard some rumors, Eric, that your parents are down there giving you protein shakes.
Are you serious?
No,
Whoa, really?
big trips.
Whoa.
Swear to God.
I mean, that's pretty much considered PEDs.
Yeah,
huh?
no, I I heard he was sneaking, like going off to the side tent, and I don't want to start rumors, but I'm pretty sure he had like 2 protein shakes throughout the day. Kalani thinks so too, and
Oh, this is all speculation between the
no,
filmers.
this is
speculation
what someone
between-
saw.
Is this speculation between second and third place about first place?
Kalani Jack, yeah, I saw him having protein shakes. You know what? I think he might
No,
have taken
Eric,
a little shot
honestly,
of testosterone too.
He might have been on something. I don't
I think he was
know.
blood doping.
He was definitely.
Okay, hear me out though.
People were on
the
things.
2 guys that Kalani and Eric both rip. Like Eric is a good surfer, like super good.
Yeah, really good.
Eric
can
is
do-
pretty much pro.
Dude,
Yeah.
he would take guys out on like a pro on like
Uh-huh,
a normal
yeah.
day. He can do it all. But there were some other guys that were ripping too. They just could not handle their alcohol. They
Yeah.
were buckled by the end of
And
the
that's
day.
the whole thing with the Filmers Cup is it's not just a surf competition, but it's a alcoholic endurance competition.
It
It's
is.
more of a drinking competition.
It's
It's more of a day for
And you
everyone.
know
Which
what?
most filmers are
Hammered.
really good at also.
yeah.
Yeah, that is. I feel like your guys' like strong suit is drinking.
Yeah.
Somehow, a lot of surf filmers, most surf filmers are just Jack
Yeah.
and Eric can put down so much alcohol.
We like
And
to have a good time.
Incredible ability to have a huge night and show up in the morning and spend time in the sun filming and nailing clips
Yeah,
and to do it on repeat.
Repeat.
It's not easy.
no, daily.
No, we don't. Whoa, I don't. We don't.
How often do you party? Like go out
I've
and
been
party. and be
recently.
like
I've
up
just been a
super
weekend
late?
warrior, but I've
So
been
just weekends.
but I've been doing like just weekends. But it like, okay, when we first started, because I'm a big guy of like the reward system. I love to like. I used to. This is how weird I was in like college and high school too. I'd like the Instagrams and all that stuff. Social media is just this weird thing where it feeds you like so your ego is just so juiced, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it started in high school, like seeing the little notifications. Like I used to like be like, oh my God, when I first started Instagram, like who like this, like this. So when I got like more and more, it was like I'd make an edit and get all these like likes and stuff. And like, I'm like, I got so many reasons to go out and just
Time to celebrate.
absolutely party. And that's how it like kind of went. And then when we started This Is Livin', every Wednesday,
Every Wednesday was
would be
reading.
like, I would be like, oh my God, where would we used to go to Dave and Buster's.
Oh my
Dave
god.
and
Yeah.
Buster's.
Every Wednesday, I'd be like,
God.
get in the car. We're going to Dave and Buster's. Drop the edit. And it would just be so much fun.
Those were some fun times.
That was good times.
We
Those
went
were the
there a
first-
lot, especially pre-COVID when COVID kind of ruined partying, I think, in Hawaii.
We don't talk about the dark times.
Dave and Buster's was an interesting place during COVID.
Were
Right?
they
it's like-
open? Or you couldn't touch anything?
I swear we went.
Oh, we did
We
actually.
went
You're
and we had a
right.
huge night at
You're-
Dave and
you're-
Buster's.
You're correct. We did.
And they were like, we had, like, the sticky hands were flying.
Oh
and,
my
like,
God,
people were just
dude.
like,
Okay.
we're like, if there's anywhere to catch COVID, it's gonna be here.
I got a story.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, you're right. We did go to Dave and Buster's during COVID, and one of these times we went during COVID. Dave and Buster's is it's just like an arcade game place that grown-ups can play arcades and drink at night and party and just
Shout out
get
Dave
really,
and Buster's if you want to give us
really
a
messed
hookup.
up. But Nate, we're all out. Me, you, Eli. I think Jack, you were probably there too.
Yeah. I was
And
there. I have a
big
video
group
of
of
it.
us. Nate wins a bunch of tickets or whatever from these games. He cashes them out for these sticky hands. And dude, Nate was putting these sticky hands totally in his mouth and then slapping people with them.
Right? They never went in my mouth.
I'm just kidding. He wasn't sucking on him, but he was.
No, I thought he was dipping them in the drinks.
He
and,
just
like,
thought
no.
that was gonna
I-
slide. Is that little fact, the little fib put in there?
So Nate gets
You
all these
fibber.
sticky hands. Correction, he doesn't suck on the sticky hands, but he goes and just is super hammered. We're all hammered and just starts swinging these sticky hands around and slapping random people in the face. Workers. This one worker came over to like
Security.
fix a machine. He starts slapping him in the ear with
sticky hand just hit him in the ear. He was like, "What the hell, man?"
yeah.
They couldn't
They were
even.
shook.
The guy
They couldn't
turned
comprehend.
around.
He had no idea
He
where it was
looked
coming
at
from.
us and he saw how hammered we were, and he was like, "I'm not even gonna say anything.
I'm not gonna deal with this
He's like,
crew right
"The
now."
machine's good to go. Just
You're-
continue.
you just
Like,
go.
leave me alone."
That was
good.
funny.
No,
That's our style, dude. Like
going out is
we
fun.
surf a certain way and we send a certain way.
Yeah.
And they're very similar. It's not like a I mean, I can kind of have a one beer sometimes cruise, but a lot of times it's
It's
the let's
full
have a
Richter.
beer to let's get a 30 rack to
Yeah.
let's have a very big night.
It gets wild.
It's a personality type.
Yeah, I think a good term for it is like all gas, no brakes.
It is all
So,
gas. It
once
is
you
so
get
all
going-
gas.
Once you get going, there's no stopping until you like
It's like-
actually crash. Yeah, like it comes to that point in the night or like that wave that finally gets you and you just crash
Yes.
Yeah, no,
to a
it's good time.
devastating hangover or a devastating wipeout.
Oof.
But that's
Um,
kind of how we've always been since we were kids. We just never grew out of that like.
Yeah, like
phase.
oh my god, like 17-year-old like
Yeah,
rage.
you're pretty good at you can be like, oh, I'll have a few beers, but like
Yeah, no,
me,
I like
I
to
know
just cruise.
myself. Like I'm not gonna just. I don't even like the feeling of one or two beers. I get one or two beers in me. I'm like,
You're like sleepy.
What's everyone
there's
doing?
no reason to stop, like is the feeling. Like
Yeah.
you're already
have a
gonna feel
couple.
the effects of
Like you want to just get drunk. at that
yeah,
point.
like you stop
Yeah.
drinking, you're probably gonna have like some sort of a weird little hangover already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
yeah,
might
I
as well
feel that.
continue.
may as well have a real hangover.
Might as
Might
well
as
wake
get
up
the
in
real
hell.
Oh my god.
God.
But anyway, back to the partying thing. No, I haven't been partying as much. Honestly, just the weekends. We
Right.
used to party more. Maybe we're just getting
So
older.
so
don't know.
I saw this thing recently. I'm sure everyone knows about Andrew Huberman. He's this like I don't know, just a crazy scientist, biology
I'm gonna
guy,
get
or
some
whatever. I don't know
science in me right
exactly.
now.
But he said there's like a very small percentage of humans that can drink alcohol and not feel the same effects like me and Nate feel. Like
Yeah.
hungover,
Yeah.
death, like no way I'm drinking again, wake
Yeah.
up, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Jack, I feel like you're in this small percentage of people that can, I'm not kidding, that can drink, party all night, go to work, like show up at the beach perfectly fine, film, do it all again, and then like rest whenever you need to. Do
No.
you feel that way?
I
because
mean,
I think that's how I
sometimes,
look
yeah.
at you.
Built different.
Yeah.
No,
but
I
it's
do.
actually there's
A
a
genetic.
found.
It's a
it-
genetic difference.
Wow. Maybe.
So I think you have that.
How does that make you feel?
Kind of Like, you guys want to have a beer?
I think our next podcast should definitely be
Yeah, it
sit
should be
down
the
with a 30
30
rack.
rack each
let's
one.
do it.
Get
It's so
hammered.
funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, even, I guess, I partied with you guys a lot here, but as soon as we started going on the road, like, I noticed that we all had the same kind of, like, we're going to work, and then party.
Yeah.
On the trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was grind, and then we'd have a nice, like, go out
Well,
with the team.
well, for us, it's we fly in, and a lot of times, and this is like, I don't know if people realize it or not. This is how hectic it is. Like, the waves we surf, the consequences are so high. What our goal is when we're going is to push the limit of where the consequences get sketchier and sketchier, right? And we literally
Yeah.
fly across the world uncomfortably, sitting on a plane, the worst thing you could do for your body, getting radiated. We oftentimes land in either same day or we land late at night and sleep a few hours and wake up to the day of the swell because we pulled the trigger so last minute. And so there's no partying before those swells. Like, we already feel like death going into those big days a lot of time. And so that's like, you do the travel, you get to the day, oh, you're scared you're going to die, you surf the day, you get epic waves, and then you get the whole adrenaline endorphin release. And after that, you're like, I just went through the gnarest 3 days ever.
Crazy.
We need to crack a cold beer and like
Now.
decompress a little bit.
Yeah, it honestly is. Drinking, I feel like, can be a good way to decompress,
Decompress after everything.
from things like that.
Yeah.
Because I
There's-
remember,
Whoa.
I mean, obviously we've done crazy missions like that, not partied
Yeah.
and whatever. But I feel like when you do have that bit of release, you almost mentally feel better. At least I do.
I call it taking out the trash.
That's a good one. I like that.
I've never heard that. That is
You
good.
you lose the brain cells that carried any of the trauma, and so you're like, I feel released after.
You're too stupid now to be traumatized.
You're
There's no more capacity. Like,
All you
things
care
got
about-
to be cleared out.
Yeah. That's cool.
Speaking of just life-threatening swells, do you ever have times when like you guys are filming us and like you see the session start to take a turn where the rev up is happening and you
Yeah.
feel almost like, oh shit, like I've heard, I mean, it's no way comparison, like someone filming the rock climbers, the filmers are like,
Oh, yeah,
oh
you're
man,
like-
I'm terrified I'm going to film someone die right now.
No, I've been like that a couple times, but it's cool to see you guys like you do like switch it on in certain points because especially now with the vlog and in the beginning, I'm sure you can understand this, like filming the talking and like, okay, we're there, say it's a big Tahiti day and there's like, it's the maxing paddle day and like filming you guys now that you're comfortable with talking, you guys will be like so on, so good. All of a sudden you get closer to the thing and you're just like have this dead stare. And I'm like, okay, like give me a reaction, like what's up? And you guys are just waxing boards, like, and I'm like, okay,
The adrenaline,
you're
like
so
the-
like you
it's
guys are
l-
already on. I'm like, then I just have to sit back and be like, okay,
It's
just
called
gonna
an
watch them.
adrenaline dump for a reason. Like I
Yeah.
literally feel it like just dump into my system.
Yeah.
And I can't really
That
like,
big paddle day, there was like no. I'm pretty sure you guys like didn't say much after, and you were just looking at the wave, and I'm pretty sure you jumped, and I was like looking at and you were just waxing your board. Didn't say anything. I was like, oh, I needed like a couple more lines, and you just jump off. I was like, all right, like
Wait,
okay.
what paddle day are you talking about?
That was the day before the
trials. That day was huge. I
Oh,
had
You guys
a
were
big
both-
crazy wipeout and you got a crazy make
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see you guys kind of just be. But those kind of days, I'm like, kid, or filming or Mavericks. That was like the worst. Like,
And even like not necessarily us, but seeing other guys and them taking wipeouts. Are you
Yeah, I
ever
was
like,
just
did I
like,
just film someone die?
yeah, that's the worst. Like the big wave stuff where I'm like, and middle of nowhere or out on a boat, and I'm like, please don't like.
You know, if it goes bad, it's,
It's
gonna
gonna
go
go
really
bad.
bad. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I always have these like weird feelings too. Like I'm like, we're just so in the mode and in the zone. Like it's all good. Like right now,
Yeah.
you feel if it's gonna be wrong out there. Like, and I feel like you guys have like hung out and like chilled and waited.
And I feel like it's a trust. Like the whole group is in a trust that whether it's you or me or Koa, they're gonna make the right decision,
Yeah.
and they're gonna make that decision and be prepared for the consequences.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's not on anybody except that person, and like
Especially even the traveling part too. Like it can go wrong traveling, like in a far country, and
Totally.
being like, I feel like the crew is all like we're solid in that point. Like,
You have to have
okay,
the trust
gonna,
of the crew. Like they got
we're
you.
gonna
you
be
got
okay.
them. Yeah.
That is crazy going to some of those places, just knowing like how gnarly not only the waves can be, but like
We're far.
like how
Well,
gnarly
dude.
the people can be, or like
Yeah,
you
and-
could get into a really bad situation,
Yeah,
especially
fast.
with we're standing out with tons of board bags,
Standing out.
tons
Yeah.
of camera gear,
The gear.
and Jack usually has his hair bleached. And it's just like
bleached hair.
it's just like, oh
tons
god,
of
are we gonna get
cameras on
attacked?
me.
Like, are we gonna get robbed or whatever?
Yeah.
No,
So
it
it is
for
nice
sure.
knowing like
There's
like
been a
having
couple
good
times.
crew to travel with.
Yeah,
It's
and you
Yeah.
in a lot of these cases, your guy filming, or whether it's one of you guys or like had Mahina in Europe, like which tripped me out because I was like, oh, Zord or Jack, like they're gonna jump in, you know, they're gonna grab you if you're knocked unconscious,
Yeah.
like you're out, like
Yeah.
that's your first responder is our
Is the
guys
people.
there to film and crew and part of the crew.
Yeah.
And some of the sessions in Europe, I was like, I just had Mahina on the beach, and I called
That
the
was
session
gnarly.
early because I was like, you can handle it, but you're gonna be bummed, or
But
tripped
I'm
out,
gonna
or Zord
go.
can handle it, but like my wife like having to try to grab me out of the water,
Yeah.
swimming
Yeah,
wrong.
that's
So I was
no
like,
good.
maybe
no
no
good.
more surfing like solo, but just
Yeah.
going back to like the team and the trust, and like, even. We should probably take that all a step further. Like we know CPR to some extent, but
We should get a little
travel
bit
with
gnarlier.
tourniquets. We should even have what is the shocker thing?
Yeah, like remember? Do you remember your
What is
first
it when
trip you went on?
they
Like,
shock people.
Oh, the pad.
Yeah, like we
can
should
get
be.
those?
Yeah, we should
You
be
know that's
traveling.
gonna turn.
Defibrillator.
You know
The
that's gonna
Defibrillator.
turn into
We should
something
be
funny.
traveling with those. Like
Yeah, we honestly should have a little better like
because
should
we
have
are
some
going to be our
bags.
own doctor in it when it comes down to it. We
And
should
learn
all know
how
how
to
to
like
stitch
just
everything.
stitch a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first trip you went on? What kind of like stuff you guys brought? Like safety gear? I remember I went to Indo and I was like to film a Quicksilver thing, and I had 3 vitamin C packets and like a pack of Band-Aids. And I was in the middle of it. I slept in a tent, and I like the guys down there were like,
That's good.
You might need a little more than that." And I was like,
Dude,
I got it.
the essentials are Advil, Imodium,
Yep.
Dude,
just because
Imodium.
it's not
Do
if,
not
it's when.
drink the water.
It's coming.
Fuck, dude, that is like the worst thing traveling. I think to third world countries is that when you get one of those stomach bugs,
Oh,
where you're just
so
like
bad.
it's just bad. You're both ends.
Do you remember
just-
in Neos?
You were sick a
Between the
little
two
bit.
big swells?
Oh my
You were
god!
sick.
I blacked out for like 2 days in a
felt
fever.
so
I was
bad for
so
you.
worried about you, dude.
That
You
part
got
of that
so
trip-
sick.
I don't even remember. In my head, it's one long swell of the first days of the swell and then the massive day.
I
And the
think
trip
that's
ended.
everyone though. That was a
That was a
mind-bending
crazy
trip. That was too long.
That
Wherever
was
we
so
were.
weird.
Why
dude.
did we stay there
Strangest
for like
place.
10 days?
Well, the waves didn't stop getting good.
I was
No.
just like,
And you were sick on top of it in the worst place you could ever probably be sick.
Sweating.
you were
That was
so
gnarly.
sweaty. Nate was the
I
sweatiest.
woke up day of that trip, day of the swell was the day I came out of the fever.
Nice.
And I was like, we're on.
We're good. Here we go.
Biggest Neos we've ever
How big is it?
seen.
You look out, there's a boat going over the falls. You're like, I'm going. That was a
crazy.
crazy trip, man. We're going back to Bali this year, right?
Yes.
Cool. Just
Yeah, I
not for
wanna-
10 days in the jungle.
I saw a question that was from one of our viewers, one of the comments. I thought it would be a cool one to bring up.
Yeah, go.
CT surfers at Pipe. What happens when they come into town? How do they work into the priority? And do they get waves at Pipe?
Ooh.
And I found this an interesting one because they don't have place in the priority unless they've been coming for a very long time and they've proven their place in the priority like anyone else. Like someone like
Kelly.
Kelly, a great example. A lot of those guys, though, what you see happening is them like grinding on that inside crew, right? Because they don't have a place in the priority at all, and so no, they don't get to paddle out, and because they're a CT surfer, get a bomb. But
Yeah.
one thing I found that's interesting is, and I wonder if they've even thought about it, but it's better training for their heats.
Yeah,
that we
because-
make it that way because anyone can see the best wave
Yeah,
of the
they should be
day.
thanking
You're
us
just
for taking away
battling
waves.
the whole time.
Well, anyone
This is
knows
for
the
you,
best
man.
wave of the day, right? But
Yeah.
it's way harder to judge those tricky insiders. And so by them surfing before the events, those inside in the pack and those mini double ups, those are the scores that get them through heats.
Yeah,
when-
those are like the
when they don't have
sixes.
priority.
Yeah.
They train to surf under priority up until the event. And when you have priority,
It's easy.
it's easy because
Yeah.
it's the best wave that comes through. It's yours.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is
you're
funny.
welcome.
Yeah. So what we're saying is you should probably be paying us
Wow.
for taking waves from you.
Wow.
It makes you a better surfer. But
That was
you know
good.
what I do notice? A lot of the CT guys, like a lot of them get such good waves out of pipe, even though the locals, like we are kind of gnarly on anyone. They are always in the spot for the waves that are really good that just go under or
Yeah.
just a little too wide.
Mhm.
So like a crazy wide pipe wave randomly, there'll be like one of those CT guys there, or like a underground double up backdoor
Yep.
one, or a wide aints one, or like a
Well-
crazy off the wall one. So they do get tons of crazy waves, but we definitely don't give them an inch or like call them into waves or anything.
No, and they have the talent to make those waves.
Yeah.
Even though pipe is as packed as it is, I would say 5% of that lineup is probably 100% equipped to take on a wave like pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you sat on the beach at pipe on a big day, you're going to see 95% wipeouts. For sure.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a few of the same guys getting blown out every time.
Yeah.
And so that's like what you're saying, like those harder inside waves or those trickier waves, a lot of times those CG guys, they have the talent for it. And so
Yeah.
when they line them up and their positioning is perfect because they surf waves all around the world constantly, they know reefs, they know the ocean, they end up getting those sneaky, crazy ones,
Yeah.
regardless of their priority, because no one's near it.
Yeah, they can be in this. Well, pipe is so like all over the place and difficult that you can be way out of where you think position or the right lineup is to get a good one.
Yeah.
I think with it being so unpredictable too, you can get a wave that doesn't look like it's going to be good where we might be like, oh, I'm not going to go on that wave. And then all of a sudden it just like is the craziest wave ever once it hits the reef
Yep.
and starts breaking. So it's unpredictable in like a couple different ways, like in good ways and bad ways.
Mm-hmm.
So
But I'd imagine they get pretty frustrated at times when they have those sessions where they don't get that sneaky one and they paddle out and they're trying to train for an event and they sit for 2 or 3 hours.
I think you look at everyone's face at pipe on a big crowded day, a really good day. I don't see many happy faces. To be completely honest, it puts you into this mode when you're surfing with 200 guys trying to get the same wave as you. That wave can kill you, or someone can go over the falls on you and kill you, or a photographer can kill you, or you can hit the reef and die.
My biggest stress on those days is you getting a better wave than me.
Yeah, I like.
Oh my God! Wait, no, that is because you know how long the sessions will go when you get a good one or you get a good one, and then you'll stay out for 7 hours. I know
Yeah,
that, and I'm
yeah.
worried because you'll get one good one, and I'm like,
And Ko will
is
come
staying
back out if
Yeah,
he had gone in.
Ko's
Or
gonna be
vice
out.
versa. I'll
Yeah.
run out. Like,
No.
oh, damn
That's
it.
what it is, dude.
You
guys are battling.
I never would wish anyone to get hurt ever, or like anything like that. But I do have like this tiny bit of, I don't even know what word can classify this, but if I see you make a crazy one,
It's anger.
I'm just like pissed. Like I want to go get a better one.
It's competition.
But
we
like
love it.
if I see you fall and you pop up okay, I'm kind of like nice.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sick.
You're like,
but, like-
thank God he didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see your guys'
I
heads
would
turn.
have
You
to-
guys are
Wait.
always like this, like looking back, like don't make it,
Dude, that
battling
is,
back
yeah,
out. Like,
that's so
I'm-
funny. You'll see a bunch of heads
You'll
turn.
see like the 5 guys that are in the spot
Looking in.
like looking in. You'll see 'em.
Luke Swanson.
Yeah. He'll never get away with
that's
a pipe. I'm just kidding.
He wants to come. He wants to learn to do all the lifting. He called me earlier, and he was
That
like,
was sick.
he's like, dude, I want to get stronger.
Don't do it, my brother.
He's
Stay
coming
out of there.
He's coming tomorrow. If you guys don't know, we're talking about Luke Swanson, one of the young up and coming guys out of
Don't fall
Hawaii.
into the cult.
Probably one of the best young up and coming guys.
No, you're right.
I think he's the best Grom from Hawaii.
The best aerialist and all around like technical clean surfer.
Yeah, some of the airs he does is crazy out here.
Huge
Rockies.
flips.
Yeah.
He's
Huge
super
full
light still
rotations.
too. He can just hover
Into the flats.
Yeah.
And like, yes, if you're gonna be doing that, it's time to strengthen everything up.
Yeah.
Dude, back to what we were just talking about at Pipe and like being competitive, but in a way like we can be so competitive against each other, like me and you, Nate, but we'll never drop in on each other. We'll never like take a wave out of turn.
You've taken waves out of turn for me.
Okay, I was
One time
as I
I've
said
been
that-
waiting for like an
Brutal
hour. I
here.
remember this to this day because
Oh
it
my
still
God.
irks me to
Oh
even
my
think
God.
about it. Ko had gotten a wave, comes back out, and he goes, "Oh, next one, Nate." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can see this. There's a next one coming." Like, I'm glad you're recognizing that it's my turn. Thank you for saying that. We go over the wave, and it's just this monster GP, like insane. I start scratching, and I scratch like I'm doing like an arc, and you're sitting there.
Sounds like you were out of position.
And I'm like, no. I'm like, duh, he better not. I'm like fully clean. I look back and you're just going like head down and you go and you didn't make it. You almost did, but you didn't make it. You were too deep. And I was
Shit.
just fury, silent for like an hour.
Days wouldn't talk to me.
Days. So yeah, you do
Wait.
take waves out of turn.
You
You have before.
You've also taken waves from me.
Yeah.
But it's not
yeah.
a thing we
No,
do.
no.
Like to one of the CT surfers that just randomly pedals out.
No, but it is to that point is like if you feel like that person has paddled themselves to where they're not in the spot, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, because a lot of times pipe being unpredictable, you can paddle way out of position.
You can
where
easily.
you
And it
just-
shifts back. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh God, like
Where
what
you-
did I do? But
Where you just paddled yourself from was the right positioning. Sometimes your friend's right there
Just have
What-
to go on the wave.
What's super interesting with talking about that tricky positioning at pipe is one of the reasons Jamie is so gnarly out there is he purposely will throw off your positioning by paddling a direction and the whole crowd will shift with him gunning. And then last second, he switches direction,
Yeah.
paddles back the other
on
way.
his giant soft top.
And he gets more waves out of turn than anyone. Well, I guess it is his turn all the time because he's just the boss. But
Yeah,
He's gnarly.
that's true. But you can see that from the beach, Jack. Like
I
everyone,
can see. Yeah, I can
everyone's
see like
fury, anger.
I can see the little pack. Like I know where you guys are sitting, and it's weird when you guys take waves that are in weird spots. I'll miss them because you guys are just like
Usually
paddling
in
back
that
out and be
one
like, oh my god,
spot.
there's a weird
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
and I'll be like, wait, what? But you guys can see like the playing field from the beach. Like there's 10 guys
Yep.
that are gonna get waves.
Yep.
And Jamie is always like
It's
floating
that-
right between kind of outside, and if he's on the soft top, he's even a little bit farther out, and he just coasts in.
it's that
probably
zone.
pretty
We're always right next to each other.
It's
Mostly.
weird.
Yeah.
It's like now I look and it's like the three, like it's Koa, Jamie, Nate. It's like the three vloggers right there, and it's kind of like how it all started. Like Jamie started doing vlogging, and then
Yeah.
you guys. And now you guys are like this little like triangle
Yeah.
of
Vlog
no
wars.
one wants you guys out
against each other, but for each other.
You guys are like, I
same
like
weird
it,
way.
but
For
oh.
each other and against each other. That's so funny.
No, you got to give it up. He was the guy making videos too. First guy
Yeah.
to
Bro,
do it.
Jamie was making the sickest movies back in the day too.
Oh my god, that's what I wanted to talk about. Who is Job? That movie, like, kind of started it all for me. Like making, like, wanting to make a surf edit, like the
Yeah.
soundtrack, the editing. It was the sickest thing ever. I still don't have a copy of it, Jamie. I need a copy.
Well, I think it's on YouTube, right?
I don't know.
Or
But, yeah.
parts of it might be on YouTube. Yeah, you love that dubstep. That's why.
I do love. Yeah.
Jamie was
He was
playing
ahead of the time.
dubstep, lighting WSL rulebooks on fire
The sickest
to intro his
sickest-
movie.
God, bring that Jamie back.
Bring that back, Jamie.
Guy is a beast.
No, but then I was like, you know what? We need to make more surf movies like that. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to start vlogging with you to eventually make a surf movie. And then the top guys started coming down and vlogging.
Yeah,
And I was
well-
kind of frustrated by that.
Well, surf films are. We said it when John came on, and what's interesting with that whole thing is even John said like he was making content from so young, making
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
own films from so early on, and in a way he's a creator, the same as we're a content creator from very. Even though
Oh,
his focus is
definitely,
tour based, he was a content creator early on, and he said when he came on that was because he watched Jamie do it as he grew up, and Jamie was doing all that.
It
kind
was
of
the
stuff.
coolest stuff to watch. And then who is J.O.B.? I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. But how am I gonna do this? He has a full crew.
But surf movies, dude, they capped out with those like that. Like we said, View from a Blue Moon got capped out, and that was it. And people wanted
is the standard.
less curated, clipped up, highlighted reels. They wanted to see the surf fans and the majority. There was so much new people in surfing.
Yeah.
They wanted to see new stuff, back end stuff, behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I feel like a lot of things now, it's everyone wants to see stuff that they can relate to.
yeah.
They can relate to just chilling on the beach or
Chilling.
like driving somewhere or getting like frustrated at something or being so excited about something. So I think showing that side of our
they
sport
like it.
now is like what might be able to take surfing to like a crazy level of people wanting to watch it.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Opens a whole new market for it too. It's
But you think about it
weird.
too, like I watch a lot of, like if I see some sports or things on YouTube, I like want to know what was that person thinking, or like what does that feel like?
a little interview
To get-
of the back
yeah.
end. Yeah.
Yep.
It's true.
So
Totally.
I get it. Whereas before I was like, why don't people want to just see these crazy highlight reels that we put a year into filming?
Yeah.
And I'm
Like,
like,
no.
well,
They can't relate to it.
They
yeah, you can't relate to it.
Can't relate to
You
just,
want to
like,
know, like you want,
perfect.
like okay, yeah, you went to Indo, and got crazy waves. Obviously, you got barreled, cool. You're a pro surfer, but what was it like?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what was Indonesia like? Like what was the
It's
food
crazy.
like? What were the people like? What was your experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
That
that's
is
what's really
true.
cool about what we get to do, and me and Jack
Yeah.
create, and you create with
Yep.
Zord. So
I remember doing it too and being like, okay, I used to watch that show, Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown. And that was like
Yeah.
the whole culture of like the food and stuff. And like when we first went and you went to some restaurant and ate, I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it. And then I went back to the footage. I was like, this is totally not on the same level, but people loved it. Like they just
Yeah.
want to see like, oh, that's what it was like. They like walked around and check it out. But that almost did. And then when that video did way better than a crazy edit, I was like, okay, here we go. This is a full shift of how we're going to film things.
yeah,
But it's happened.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
happening.
I think that was
I think
great.
that was good.
Yeah.
Before
let's wrap
we
it up.
go, we have to do the investment update.
Oh, I would
Robinhood
love to see.
percentage update.
I have a tax
Oh.
appointment I have to go to.
I didn't start
no
mine.
money.
So,
Did you start yours
yeah. Does that mean I'm winning?
with your little $1,000 one, or you
Okay.
just
If
have?
you
your
guys want
Robinhood?
to see me
I'm
mess around in
hitting. I'm
investments,
hitting 1
put my
month.
Venmo in the
What about
bio.
this photo of Nate?
What is it?
That's me when I trade.
Oh wait. When did you start this? After our last podcast?
Since we filmed our last podcast, I made a trade.
On your normal Robinhood.
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
That trade brought me up 1.36%.
Let's see what my Robinhood's doing.
Since our last
we go.
podcast post.
So how long ago was that? 1 week ago?
When we filmed that, I think that was
Dude, it's like a week and a half.
March 14th.
Well, I'm up 7%, 8% since March 17th. Okay, so from 14.
You lying?
No, well, 1
Eight.
month, 4%. Here's what we got to do,
You gotta do a week.
because my GameStop just went ballistic. I've been holding that for so long, you have no idea. That meme you sent me was exactly me.
Oh my god.
But,
okay, so what do we do here?
Okay, we have to make a separate account. with
Okay.
Just
Or we, cause since this is weekly, next week we hit the 1 week. Or in 1 week from now, we screenshot at 1 week and then we'll show the screenshot
okay
on the next episode.
on
So right now
on
we're
a new Robinhood,
yeah,
or
we're even. No, right now on your Robinhood,
okay.
starting now, in 1 week we'll screenshot. But this
Okay.
the next podcast will just show that screenshot. So it's
Yeah.
not like we don't have to like figure out
I didn't
dates.
think I have any
You,
money.
you know what? I had a cool idea for this. We could almost do a round of funding with our fans on the podcast, and everyone can send us a certain amount of money, and we can trade it for them. Like a mini hedge
We are the hedge
trust
fund.
in Nate and Koa, it could be like $10.
We are gonna take your money and go to Dave and Buster's
community,
for
like-
sure.
It's not a Ponzi scheme, we promise. Take it, double it, pass it on.
I mean it in
That
a
is the
funny
best.
way,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a malicious bad way.
Okay, well, we said we'd ask our guests, Jack, if you have any investments, do you invest? Do you do stocks? Do you do like what? If you do
I
invest,
had-
what is?
Yeah,
You don't have to like
Jack is the
say
best
numbers or
investor I've
anything.
ever met.
Okay, you want to know how you guys were doing crazy on that GameStop thing? I sold early. I made like $400, and everyone is just watching their money go to the moon.
Oh
so
my gosh.
don't
Jack
give me
paper-handed.
any kind
that
of
same
investment.
thing.
I
But
will not give
you
advice.
have some long term stuff, right?
Yeah, I
you're
have
in
a
the
little
long
bit.
like in your real account. You're in it for the long.
I'm in it for the
term.
long haul, baby.
Compound investing strategy.
Makes $1,000 a year.
Jack Buffett.
No,
Jack Buffett.
I definitely need to get more, like the day trading stuff. Don't want to do that as much.
Yeah.
Long term, yeah.
No, but
I
I
don't
think
think
I
anyone
think
should
it's
day
cool
trade.
just to hear everyone's like someone else we bring on might be like, oh no, I don't do stocks, but I do real estate, or oh no, I do bonds, or oh no, I'm not in any stocks or real estate. I only do crypto. You know, it's interesting to hear
yeah.
Only crypto.
people's whether it's just super
XRP, it's
conservative
gonna take off.
or it's like super aggressive.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're like, no, my parents told me investing is bad, so I don't do it. It's risky. You could lose everything. Which was a whole generation that was like that.
Like
Well,
buried
I
in the
mean, I feel like
backyard.
if I listen to those people, I'd probably be up a little more. You know? So maybe it is bad.
Yeah. So,
No, yeah.
No, I don't know. It's just
Investing
it's
is
a
hard.
funny thing. It's hard to. There's so much information out there about it that you really got to pick and choose what.
Yeah, there's so much weird stuff now. You can like look at it and be like, I'm investing that. No.
It's interesting to talk about it though because it feels like I don't know. Nowadays it's way different. It is more talked about. But a lot of like our parents like or for me they were there was no like now my dad's really into it. He trades crypto and he actually does really well. He's pretty good at it. But when they were young, they weren't thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to set up my like
Yeah.
50-year stock compound growth account," you know?
No
So it's
way.
like generationally, there's different generations that are like way more into it, love talking about it, love learning about it.
Yeah, you're right.
And then there'll be a whole generation that's like, no, nothing.
Yeah.
No
And my
setups.
dad hates it. My dad hates stock
And
market,
some
right?
people lost their skin on their first big thing in the game and were like, screw it. They learned
Yeah.
their lesson, they're out. You know, they
Yeah.
never were like, I gotta say that, but bleep that, but they're not as like
Yeah.
risky as us or not learning our lessons quick enough.
Well, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It all stems back to all gas, no brakes.
All
Yes.
gas, no brakes.
Like this is gonna work, and I believe 100,000% with all my heart this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And then it fails. You're like,
And it's gone.
and it's
and
gone.
it's gone.
Well, on that note,
Well, thank you for having me.
yes, sir.
That's
Thanks
been
for
fun.
coming on.
I'm sure I'll be back
third
on.
guest, of course.
Yep.
Our drinking one.
Oh yeah, we'll have some beers.
Guys,
That'll be fun.
you shout out to Jack in the comments.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, subscribe to our channel, like this
Subscribe.
video. Thank you all for the support, and we'll
Thanks for
keep
watching.
dropping podcasts for you guys. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yep.
Check us out.
Cool.
Thanks, you guys. See ya.